So good morning, student. Uh, Anyone, please confirm is my voice is audible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but thank you. So let us see the session, the continuation of exception handling. Okay. So before that, as usual, the quiz time. Okay. The first quiz. Both class error and the class exception are children of this parent. So error and exception. These are the class or children of this parent. Post your answer. So remember the class hierarchy of exception handling concept. So in this class hierarchy, so what's the root class? So which one class is divided into two, error and exception? So an error exception means again some uh, types checked, unchecked. Okay, this is the class hierarchy concept. Just to recall that previous content. So which is the parent class for both error and exception? That's the question. Which one is a parent? Harshini. So what about others? So 125 people almost are people are here, but only one student give the answer. Say yes, right or wrong. So others just confirm this answer. Okay, okay. A. So A only. Throwable. Okay. Throwable, which is the parent class for the both classes, error and exception. Which of these following lists exception types from most specific to least specific? So, so which of these following list exception types from most specific to least specific? So just give post your answer like starting with if this is the question number 2, right? So 2, then choose the option. Then only it will be easy for me to identify your answer. So almost the first one is which one is first one? Actually, this is the types. Error, which is different from exception, right? So leave the first one. Error and exception, both are different as per the class hierarchy of exception handling concept. Both are different as per Sun Microsystem. So you don't need to compare the first one, error and exception, a different concept. B, C, D. Okay, again, Harshini is the first one to always post the answer. Others, please confirm. Once again, repeat you. So your answer should be in, this is the number question number 2. So 2, if Harshini or she choose the option D means 2D. Okay. So like that, you just post your answer. It will be easy for me to see. Actually, throwable, which comes to the part of um, parent class and child class concept C. If you are choosing C means parent and child. D, Shrutika D again. Shrutika have to post the answer like 2D. Okay. Okay, D. So D is right or wrong. So other please confirm. So only 3 students post the answer. Most specific to least specific. If you choose D means arithmetic exception. Yes, most specifically it deals with the arithmetic errors, right? Arithmetic runtime errors. So least specific means runtime exception, which is the least specific. It is specifically to common all runtime errors or exceptions. Okay. So most specific means arithmetic exception. The least specific means runtime exception. So your answer is right. Which of these statement is true? A statement A, it is true. B, it is true. C or D. Which of these statement is true? This is question number 3. So post your answer like if you are choosing A means 3A. If you are choosing B means 3B. Okay, select the way of just post your answer. Once again, repeat this. The first, what is A? Finally block gets executed only when there are exceptions. Finally gets always executed irrespective of the flow in try-catch block. Third, finally block can be present only when a catch block is present. Last D, finally block gets executed only when there are no exceptions. Which one is the right statement? Which statement is true? You have listened your previous classmates, then it is possible to answer this question. What's the role of finally block and when the finally block will execute? What's the answer for the third question? Just post an answer. After try. But which one of the statement is the right one? So after try means the option which belongs to what? A or B or C or D? B. So Kadir will choose B. Okay. What about others? Once again, repeat. If you choose B, B means 3B. Okay. You have to post like the question number along with question number 3B. So whether B is right or wrong? Anyone? Please confirm the answer B, which is right or wrong, or 3B. Okay. It's almost all. Yes. B, which is the right. Okay. So finally gets always executed irrespective of the flow in try catch block. Okay. So sometimes some exceptions may be raised from the try block. Sometimes the exception may not be raised from the try block. So irrespective of the exceptions from the try catch block, it is always executed, but it is placed after try catch block. Okay, actually the statement B, which is the right one. Okay, so what's the statement about C? Finally block can be present only when a catch block is present. No, not like that. Okay. But if you are using a try catch block means you have to place finally after try catch block. Okay. Finally block gets executed when only when there are no exceptions means this is also irrespective of the exceptions. Okay. So the exception may throw or may not be thrown irrespective of the exception. The final block gets always executed. Next. On occurrence of which of the following is it possible for a program to recover? The program can able to recover on which of these? Errors can be recovered, which is true or false. Exceptions can be recovered, which is true or false. Both errors and exceptions and neither. Post your answer along with the question number 4. Okay. If you choose the option A means 4A. If you're choosing your option B means 4B. Which one is recoverable? That's the question. So many of you have chosen the answer B. So yes, B. Exception, which is the recoverable one. Errors, which is not a recoverable one. Okay, exception. When is a finally block executed? Which statement is true? Only when an unhandled exception is thrown in a try block. Only when any exception is thrown in a try block. Always after execution has left a try catch block, no matter for what a reason. Always just a method is about to finish. So Srutika choosing the option C, which is almost right. Okay, so always after execution has left a try catch block, no matter what a reason. Yes, after try catch block for 5, C, which is the right. Which statement is true about the try block? It is mandatory for statements in a try block to throw at least one exception type. The statements in a try block can only throw one exception type and not several types. The try block can contain loops or branches. The try block can appear after the catch blocks. Which one of the statement is right with respect to try block? Six A. This is the one of the placement related question. So two options are almost, you thought almost two options are becoming true, but you have to choose only one. Some others. So Venkatesh Sriram choosing actually A, Shritika B, Samriddhi Vashini B, Harshini B. Just to think beyond, I think, just you have to think beyond A, B. Which one is the right? It is mandatory for statements in a try block to throw at least one exception type. It is not at all mandatory. Sometimes the try block may not throw some exceptions. Okay. Then the statements in a try block can only throw one exception type and not several types. No. From the try block, more than one exceptions are raised. So you can use more than one catch block with respect to the particular exception type. Okay, a single try block can have more than one catch block. So is there anyone choosing the just choose the option C? Actually, which is C is the right here. The try block can contain loops or branches. Yes, the try block can. It is possible a try block can contain loops or branches. Next, B, the try block can appear after the catch blocks. No. Okay. After the try only, the catch block should be placed. So for 6, C. What's the output of this program? The question number 7. Just two statements, try and finally. What is the output of this program? Okay. So Nitya choosing a D. Okay. Sriram also choosing D. Kadirvel also choosing D. What about remaining students? So are locked with D or no some other option? D, which is the right one. Okay. Hello world, finally executing. The statement is printed. Then, what's the result of attempting to compile and run the program? What's the result of this program? The question number 8. System.out.print exception instance of throwable. Next, print error instance of throwable. So before that, you are creating the object for the error as well as the exception class. So instance of that keyword, right? And it's actually in the unit number 1 or 2. So that the keyword is already familiar, instance of keyword. Okay. that keyword which prefix the keyword starts with the object. After that the class. Exception, which is the object, name of the object. Error, which is also name of the object. Instance of, throwable, which is the class. So instance of, what's the output of the instance of keyword? Either it return true or false. Okay. So quickly fast. What's the output of this program? Question number 8. Again, recall the class hierarchy concept. What's the output of this program? Sriram, Harshini, Shritika, Kadirvel. Just try to choose anyone, just to pick anyone from this four. No one? I think my voice is audible. 8A. Oh yes, any other option? 8C. So any other option, which is also important placement question. A repeated placement question. Aparna, which is right. Okay. True. Yes. Exception, which is the object for the exception class. Exception class. Exception instance of throwable. Yes. Throwable, which is the parent class for both error and exception. So exception instance of throwable. Yes. True. It returns true. Because exception, the class exception, which is the child class of throwable. Error instance of throwable. It is also true. Because error, which is the child class of the parent class throwable. Okay. So this error exception, which is the object. Okay, so true, the right one. So what about the 9th question? What's the output of this program? So just read the line very careful, but it is better to read the statement from the main. Okay. So for this type of question, it is always preferable to read your statements from the main. Okay, which will give you the right order of the execution. This is the question number 9. Supposed to answer along with the question number 9. Nine. A. Okay, Srutika choosing 9A. Sort of any other option? 9C. 9C. Hello. Throw it. 9D. Srutika changed the option, which is D. But that runtime exception is already caught here. Okay, we are using a runtime exception. It's the child class of the exception. Exception, which is the parent class for the runtime exceptions, which is already caught. Okay, again, C. So I think C, which is the right one. Let me see. Yes, C is the right one. Okay, starting with the main means first the hello, which is printed here. Throw it. This is the caller method, right? This method almost call the method throw it. This is the caller method. Okay. So again the control which moves to here. This is the callee. Okay, callee of the caller method throw it. So within this method, system.outer printer and just to throw it. Okay, so that statement is printed next to hello. Next, one more runtime exception is thrown here. using the keyword throw. Okay, that runtime exception which is already caught in this, because exception which is the parent for both runtime as well as the checked and unchecked exception, right? And exception is which is the parent, so it is it can catch the exception type runtime exception. That exception is caught here, so the caught is printed. So after that, so try and catch over. Next to the statement coming to the block finally which is printed. So after the statements finally which is also printed, so after which is also printed. Okay, so hello, throw it, got, finally, after. So see here throw it. So within the try block, exception is raised using the caller method, throw it. Okay, so by calling this method only, the exception is thrown using the keyword throw here. Okay, so this is the C. The answer is which is right. Okay, so almost the quiz part is over. See that important quizzes are covered in the quiz part. The next, the continuation of exception handling, the part number 2. Next is just a small recap. The root class for the all classes, which is object, we already know, which is also one of the important MCQ. So throwable, which extends object. So throwable, which is divided into two parts: exception, error. So exception means checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions. Checked exceptions means uh, as we know that there are two types of exception, checked and unchecked. Unchecked is unchecked exceptions means it's forced you to handle them. Okay, so if you don't handle them, then the program will not compile. Okay, that is checked exception. On the other hand, unchecked exception doesn't get checked during compilation. Okay, at the runtime only that kind of errors are encountered. Okay, so small recap. Next, one more recap. The terms used in the previous session regarding exception handling, important terms: try, catch, finally, right? So try means the block which is might throw, if you suspect these kinds of statements are might throw exception, means that kinds of statements are put it in the try block. So try block, you have to place the catch block as after the try block. So from the same try block, there are more type of more than one exception as maybe raised. So it is possible to place more than one catch after try. Okay. So then, as after try and catch, the final block is which is placed. So irrespective of the exception, sometimes the exception may throw from the try block, sometimes the exception may not be thrown from the try block. So irrespective of the exception, the finally block is executed. So after the finally block, the next line of the code is executed. So this is the first things for no exception thrown. If no any exception is thrown, means after try, the finally block is executed. If any exception raises from the try block, means the try after catch is executed. So after the catch, finally, then after the next line of the finally block. Okay. So this is the execution order. A small recap. Next, another keyword, throws. Okay, so difference between throw and throws, which is also important placement related question. So we have already go through the term throw. Okay, so throw, it has its own syntax. Okay, using the throw keyword, so you have to throw any kind of exception. You have to throw any kind of exception anywhere place in the code. Okay, so throw keyword, which also has its own signature. In the previous session slides, so I have put in the signature. What is the syntax of the throw? But so now next one of the important term, which is throws. Okay, so throws first. To read the slide, if your method is capable of causing an exception, see here a method. So if your method is capable of causing an exception that it does not handle, it must specify this behavior so that callers of the method can guard themselves against that exception. So which means throws is a keyword in Java which is used in the signature of the method. Okay, so throws is also a keyword in Java which is used in the signature of the method. So what do you mean by signature of the method? For what do you mean by signature of the main? So anyone post what is the signature of the main? What is the signature of the main? Anyone post here? Signature of the main. signature, I instructed you to just type the signature of the main. That is, what is the signature of the main? Public static void main. So within the bracket, string arguments, right? This is the signature of the main. Okay. So throws a keyword which is used along with the signature of the method. Signature of the method. Okay. Uh, so signature of the method to indicate for what purpose? To indicate that this method might throw one of the listed type exceptions. Using the throws keyword, you can throw more than one exception. This is one of the important difference between throw and throws. In throw, using the throw, you can throw at a time only one exception. But using throws, you can declare more than one exception. So throws keyword which is used along with the method signature. Throw keyword which is used within the body of the method. Okay, this is the difference between throw and throws. Okay. Near placement related things, if they are asking the questions like throw and what's the difference between throw and throws, means both are coming to the part of the exception handling. Using throw, where can we place throw, we can place the throw within the body of the method. Throws means along with the method signature we have declared throws. Okay, in the next coming slides, you can see the syntax as well as the program. And in throw, using throw, you can throw only one exception at a time. But using throws, you can declare more than one. That is why in here the syntax which is throws exception list. Okay. So this is the signature of the throws type. Type means the type of the method. It may be a void, it may be int. Okay, the type of the method. So the name of the method. If any parameter list, then parameter list. Then throws exception list, then body of the method. Okay, this is the way of how to use throws in Java. Okay. Next point. Throws keyword is used for handling checked exception. This is also one of the important difference between throw and throws. Using throw, you can throw any kind of exception. It may be checked as well as it may be unchecked exceptions. But using throws keyword, this is used for handling checked exceptions. Okay, so it is not applicable for error as well as runtime exception. Then if you're talking with throws, one term is presented along with throws, that is caller of the method. Okay, so what do you mean by caller of the method? Okay, for example, if I'm using one addition method, a void name of the method void add some parameter, then throws arithmetic exception. Okay, uh, which means any this checked exception, any kind of checked exceptions. Then within the send, what is the caller of the this method? So caller of the method means addition, open close bracket, semicolon. Actually this is the caller of the method, right? So the caller of this method has to handle the exception using a try catch block. Okay, so how can you handle the exception? Means the same thing, try catch block. The try catch block should be placed in the caller of the method. Okay, so let us see in the upcoming slides the best example. So before that, see here, what is the output of this program? This program will show you the necessity of the throws in Java. What is the output of the program? If you are already familiar with Java, means if you are already familiar with some stream concept, that is buffer reader. If you are using any buffer reader concept in your program, means obviously you are using along with the method signature. Same thing. Method. What is the method signature? Public static void main string arguments. This is the method signature. So along with the method signature, you have to include throws IO exception, right? So if you are already familiar with some IO streams, buffer reader, if you are using any buffer reader concept in your program, means you have to include throws IO exception or throws exception along with the method main signature. If you are omit throws exception from the main signature, means what is the output? Actually, what's the output of this program? Any guess? So this program typically shows the necessity of the throws. Please, anyone, please. Shrutika, Aparna, Kadirvel, Sriram. Anyone, please post your answer. What's the output of this program? Else unmute your mic and tell me the answer. What's the output of this program? Okay, actually, the output of this program, which is unreported exception, that is interrupted exception, must be caught or declared. This is the output of this program. Unreported exception, that is the exception is not caught. What kind of exception it possible to raised from this code? Interrupted exception. Okay, if you are using the thread concept, actually here using the thread concept. Okay, in the next unit we will see this thread concept in detail. Here you are using the thread concept within the method main. If you are using thread.sleep method, sleep, which is one of the method in thread, if you are using that sleep method means it is possible to throw an interrupted exception. Okay, so must be caught or declared. Must be caught means you have to place these types of statements in a try block. So either you can place these type of statements in a try block, that is must be caught, or declared means using the throws keyword you have to declare these types of exception. Okay, so else you have to place thread.sleep. So this is the thread.sleep, which is the one of the statement which might throw exception at runtime. So these types of statement you have to usually have to place these types of statements in the try block. So in the catch block you have to catch the interrupted exception. Okay, on other term you have to declare the type of exception, interrupted exception, using the keyword throws. Okay, so actually how it is see the next slide. This is the right way of using this program. Okay, public static void main string argument throws interrupted exception. See here, throws interrupted exception. This is the one way of handling or declared. In here, using the throws keyword, you are declared interrupted exception. This is one way of mechanism. In the previous session, we had already seen about a try catch block. Okay, else you can choose the try catch block, that is thread.sleep and the system, that is hello geeks. These statements should be placed in the try. Okay, so after in the catch you have to catch the exception, interrupted exception. That is one type of mechanism. In the another type of mechanism, declared, using the throws keyword. Here you are declared interrupted exception. But where you caught exception, where you handle this exception, that is the term caller of the method. That term will bring here. See, we can use throws keyword. Okay, so we can use throws keyword to delegate the responsibility, of exception handling to the caller of the method. Okay, so if you are using the throws keyword means the exception handling mechanism should be delegated to the caller of the method. But here there is no caller of the method, right? The caller of the method, it may be a method. Okay, caller of the method means it may be a method or it may be JVM, Java Virtual Machine. This program, which is the example of here, caller of the method, which acts as a JVM. JVM will hand over, throws interrupted exception means that exception handling mechanism is handed over to the JVM. Okay, so using the throws keyword means that when the caller method is responsibility to handle the exception. In this program, the caller method is none other your JVM. Okay, so if you are using throws interrupted exception means your output hello geeks, which is obviously printed. Okay, it's in the screen. This is the necessity of throws. Okay, so thread dot sleep means almost this statement uh, raised from the interrupted exception from this statement. Okay, so you can place either, you can use either try catch block in this code or declare the exception through using the keyword throws. Okay, throws interrupted exception. So throws keyword which is used along with the method signature. This is the method signature. So throws keyword which is used along with the method signature. Okay. Next, see here. This is starting with the main function. This is main. So here this is the part of object creation. Okay. Then here within the try block, one code is added, and within the print you're calling the method check marks. Actually, check marks of 43, right? Check marks of 43, which is the caller method of this program. This in this program, what's the caller method here? Check marks. Okay. So why it is called caller method? Because this on executing this statement, the control will go to the check marks int marks. Okay. So what's the parameter value here? 43. So 43, which will actually the marks which is received for 43. Okay. The control will always just move to here. So in this, so this method check marks from this method, you are using throws keyword and declaring the exception arithmetic exception. Okay. So so in this code, marks divided by 0 means, which is obviously the divisible by 0 exception is raised, which is the part of the arithmetic exception. That is why you are using throws. After that throws, arithmetic exception is placed. Okay. So so here for this method check marks. Okay. So in this method using the keyword throws, declaring one type of exception, arithmetic exception. Okay. If you are using throws keyword means the error handling mechanism will hand over to the caller method, right? If any method which is used along with the method signature using the term some exception means the handling mechanism will hand over to the either JVM or caller of the method. In the previous slide, which is the example of handling mechanism, which is hand over to the JVM. This method, which is the example for the the exception handling mechanism, will hand over to the caller of the method. So what's the caller of the method? Check marks. The caller of the method, that is here. This is the caller of the method. That caller of the method should be placed within the try block. Okay. So within the try block only, the caller of the method should be placed. So here through declaring the exception, arithmetic exception, you should caught arithmetic exception in the catch block. Okay. So the catch block just caught arithmetic exception, then some statements are printed here. Okay. So on executing check marks method, and arithmetic exception is raised, that exception is caught. Okay. And printed like error in dividing number by 0. That output is printed on this program. Okay. So almost the throws concept is over. Next, this is the difference between throw and throws. Okay. First, throw. What first and the first point, which is respect to the syntax. Okay. Throw is followed by an instance. Okay. For example, how to use a throw keyword means throw. So after throw, some instance is placed. Instance means what? Object creation, like new SQL exception. What do you mean by throw? New SQL exception means an object is created for the class SQL exception using throw. So this is the way of how to use throw. First point. Okay, this is the way of the syntax of throw. Throw new SQL exception within bracket. SQL exception is added, which is almost optional one. Okay, so in this they have put SQL exception. That value is added. The value is almost optional. This is the way of how to use throw in Java. Okay, so using throw, after throw, and then instance of a exception is placed using the keyword new. Okay, so after throw, the new keyword should be placed. Okay, throws means throws is followed by class name. Okay, throws the keyword which is used along with the signature of the method. Okay, so signature of the method which is there, that is for example void add within brackets some int a comma b. So after that throws SQL exceptions. Okay, so throws keyword which is used along with the method signature. Throw keyword which is used within the method body. Okay, so this is the difference between throw and throws. Next thing, throw, same thing, throw is used within your method. Okay, throw is used, the term throw which is used within a method. Throws is used next to the method signature. The same thing is repeated. Next, a programmer cannot throw multiple throws at a single time. Using the throw, you can throw only one exception at a time. But in throws, using the throws keyword, you can declare more than one exceptions at a time. Okay. So for example, throws IO exception, comma arithmetic exception. These things are possible. Okay. Next, the throw keyword explicitly throws an exception. Yes, using the throw keyword, it throws explicitly throw an exception. But here throws, using the throws keyword, you are declaring the exception only. Okay. Then that exception handling mechanism is handed over to the caller of the method. The caller, it may be either JVM or a method. If any method means that method statement should be placed within the try block. Okay. So in that catch block, the exception is caught. Okay. And the statement is printed. Actually, this is the difference between throw and throws. Okay. It's an important question, throw and throws. Difference between throw and throws. Next, some user-defined exceptions. Okay, it is also possible to declare some user-defined exceptions in Java. Okay, so user-defined exception, or it is called custom exceptions, is creating your own exception class. Okay, so user-defined exception means you are going to create your own exception class, but that class should extend the parent class exception. Okay, and throws that the exception using throw keyword. So within your own exception handling class, how to handle the exception using throw keyword. Okay, so and also one more thing, this can be done by extending the class exception. So very important, actually, user defined function which is also called custom exception. If you are creating your own class, means that class should extend parent class exception. So within the class, how to handle the exception means using the throw keyword. Okay, so this is the some few points related to user defined exception. So this is the last slide. See the example here. You are see here a class my exception. Okay, this is your own class my exception. That class should extend exceptions. Okay. Yes, is my voice audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So this is your own class, my exception. That class should extend exceptions. Okay. So if this class extends exception, then only that class can able to this class can able to act as a user defined function. Okay. So the term extends exception, which is more important. Then only my exception. This is your own class, which is act as a user defined exception. So okay. So in this, one more constructor is there, my exception, that constructor. Here one initialization is added, a equal to b. See here one two string. See, public string, two string. The two string which is one of the method in exception. Okay, this is one of the method in exception. That method is overridden here. Okay, what's the purpose of a two string means? Just it improves the readability, just for displaying purpose. You are using most of the time in Java. There's a hacker and problem also. Some things are added. Two string method. So if you are using two string method, means just readability of the program is improved. That is used for displaying purpose. So here it returns exception number. Okay. So control here, if you are using user defined function means, then you should use the keyword throw. Okay, so here this is the syntax of the keyword from the main. Within the try block, you are throw one exception. Throw new my exception means this is the instance. Okay, instance of the exception. Here my exception, which is your own exception. Okay, Sometimes if you are in the previous slides, here you are adding some SQL exception, IO exception, so like that are the predefined exception. Here my exception means this is your own exception. Here you are creating the object for the my exception. The to value is passed. Okay, the to value is passed. So here in the my exception, the constructor 2 is received. So A, which is initialized to 2. Okay. So in the to string, which is the method which is already presented in exception, that method is overridden here. So it returns just exception in the string format. It returns me just a string format exception number equal to 2. That statement is printed. Okay, this is the one of the easiest example how to use the defined exception in Java. Okay, so almost the exception handling part which is over. The important terms which is used in exception handling means try, catch, finally, throw, and throws. Okay, these are all the important terms which is used in the exception handling. So obviously you know about the try. What do you mean by try? So that statement which might produce exception means that statement should be included in the try. If you are using try, you can caught exception using the catch. For a single try, you can place multiple catch statement. You can also place a try catch within the try block, that is called a nested try. Okay, then what is the purpose of throw? What is the purpose of throws? Throw means it has its own signature. Okay, so using throw, you can throw any type of exception, but using throws, you can throw only checked exception. Throws keyword is used along with the method signature. Throw keyword which is used within the body of the method. Okay, so these are all. It's almost, the recap is almost over. Okay, exception handling, the part is almost over. Okay, thank you, students. Is any query? Just post your query or unmute your mic. Just ask me. If any query, just post your query or unmute your mic. One of the important concept, exception handling, which is almost over. So I will come up with a new topic for the next session. Is there any query? Is that clear? Okay, thank you, Harshin. So what about others? Is that clear? The terms in exception handling? Okay, thank you. Thank you, students.